Hey everybody, this is Michael Butler, Artistic Director of Center Rep, and I'm here with another 3 Questions Zoom edition, this time for Dave Abrams, and I am so excited. Dave is one of our Jedi musical theater actors in the Bay Area. 2 shows at Center Rep, most recently Freaky Friday and Smokey Joe's, but lots of shows around the Bay. He did Hairspray at Bay Area musicals. He did Ragtime and Sister Act at Berkeley Playhouse. He did In the Heights and won a TBA award at Contra Costa Civic Theater. And he's a graduate of UC Berkeley, so you know he's got all kinds of stuff going on. Dave, welcome. Welcome.
Be here. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, that's great. So, Dave, we're now like almost 4 months into, theaters being closed, and you're an actor who works a lot. So, what are you doing to keep things going and keep your chops up and doing, besides doing like interviews with people like me?
Right. Oh, man. Well, it's probably been hard for all, I would say mostly all of us. But the way that I've been trying to just cope and find other avenues to express myself, has been going virtually. I teach at Performing Academy, and I teach musical theater for hip hop and a song and dance class. I've also been taking some classes personally too with the ballet school,
Oh, yeah.
and just looking at other cool things like Steezy, and it's a hip hop online academy.
Thank you for telling me.
Steezy, what? And that's kind of been my outlet. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it's not the same as being in the rehearsal room with other amazing, talented people and hearing live music in the same room. It's just a different experience. And so
Yeah.
I miss it so much. I miss it so much.
Yeah. But it's gonna come back. It's just a matter of time. Theater survives, theater prevails, and we just gotta persevere.
I love that. So true.
Yeah.
Hope a
So
lot.
let's talk about Freaky Friday. That was the most recent show you did with us, Disney's Freaky Friday. And
Yes.
I was thinking about it and realizing, oh man, the theme for this is, even though it's Disney, so it's lighthearted, but it really is, I would say, about if only we could see the world through each other's eyes, we could finally achieve understanding.
And I think that that's why this story has stayed around for
Yeah.
years and years. When it first was written by Mary Rogers in the 1970s, and then it was made into a movie with Jodie Foster, and then had another iteration, the one that I'm most closest to, with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a show that I think has survived so much because it's the clearest way to show the power of compassion and understanding each other through different perspectives.
Yeah. And
Um,
you played Adam in that, which is a very cool role. He was like the popular guy in school, but with a really, really beautiful soul and a beautiful heart and good nature. The way he helps out the kid is so fantastic with this song that I think you're going to sing, right?
yeah, yeah. So I love playing Adam, and thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of this production. It was great. And
Yeah.
one thing I would say is, like, with Freaky Friday, you know, Adam is has been seen normally as a white male, you
Yeah.
know, and to have this cast, our cast in a rep, not worry about so much with the ethnicity of the actor is, but care more about what he can bring to the table in terms of his artistry. And I felt like that was really amazing, and I think that's what we need to continue to have in the theater to start seeing some real change. So this song that I want to share is
Yeah.
called "Women and Sandwiches." It's a good song. It's funny, and
Yeah.
I hope you like it. Women and sandwiches, they always surprise. They're more complicated than burgers or fries or guys. Women and sandwiches, some are cold and some hard. But take what they offer and you'll learn a lot. You're doubtful or dreadful, they've burned you before. But trust me, my brother, you'll line up for more. For they may be crusty or salty or sour, but women and sandwiches always have the power. And sometimes there's a sandwich with a taste that disagrees, that maybe makes you angry, gives you agita the queeze. But go with it at least a while, and soon it's not so strange. With time and understanding, taste can change. Oh, I gotta bring the hat out. Women and sandwiches, like chocolates and wine. Sometimes the strange ones are just the most fine. You look at the outside, the face of the bread. You don't know what's there in that roll or that head, but odds are you like what's inside for y'all. Women and sandwiches, I so love them all. And sometimes there's a sandwich that you looked at just one way, then it suddenly surprised you, say a lot and say today, and then ask you to do something that you thought was just a cheat. The explanation wasn't so complete, but still in all it's just a simple feat. So maybe you should help her 'cause she's sweet, and her mother's pretty neat. Dialogue. You got me. Well, long may their heavenly mysteries live, and all of the joys and the sorrows they give. Wherever we weirdos, we wishing men roam, women and sandwiches. Women and sandwiches will always bring us home. Should we get out of here before the cops come? Brilliant, mate.
Yeah. Dave, that was great. Oh, so good to hear that tune again.
Oh yes, such a good song. It's so fun. And I miss Tyler, Patrick Hennessy, and he was such a good actor to work with.
Oh, he was amazing.
He's
Man.
amazing.
And you guys were great together. That was fantastic.
Uh,
Let's jump to Smokey Joe's Cafe, could we? I mean, that's going back a few years. It was your first show here with the great Robert Barry Fleming directing and choreographing. Oh, who is now the executive artistic director of Actors Theater of Louisville and Humana Festival. And that was an amazing show. Yeah. What was it like to work on that show and with that cast and with him?
oh my gosh, it was so amazing for me. Um, it was one of the first experiences where I understood how theater worked.
Oh,
I grew up in youth theater, which is fantastic, but when you're dealing with a cast of children, there's a little bit more leeway and a little bit more support, a little bit more help in like that area, right?
right.
With when I got cast in the show, and I'm so grateful for it. I got to see like how professionals work, how quick they work, how all the elements start coming together right then and there. And so for me, I can't thank you guys enough for that because it was a way for me to strengthen my chops and sharpen my skills and start understanding like how do professional actors navigate through this rehearsal process. What is it like to do 5 shows a week and just hit the ground running, and and that was just, I can't thank you guys enough for that. And I made
Oh,
friends during that time too that people I still talk to today.
yeah. And, 5 shows a week or 8 shows a week, like you know, on Broadway and in big regional theaters. I mean, a show like this, there was some fierce dancing in this show. This was like a tough gig.
This show was nonstop. It was
Right.
song after song. Robert Barry Fleming was not letting anybody slow it down. We had
That
to.
end of Act One number, fantastic. The duet that you had with Taylor Iman Jones, that was great. And one of the other, I mean, aside from like great tunes, great dancing, it's a show that again, it's about a neighborhood, and it's kind of like a mythical neighborhood with blacks and whites, and they're kind of where the conversation has to happen, and people have to work out their their cultural differences, and I think that's again a really good thing to think about now, and it's people are putting a lot of pressure on theater to really uh, rise to the occasion of Black Lives Matter and equity, diversity, inclusion, and I think that's good to think of theater as a neighborhood that we can really, in a very active way, start to work out some equity, some
Great.
diversity, some
I
inclusion. Let's do it. Let's
yes.
really start to do things. But we gotta be there together having the conversation just to lay the groundwork and the framework, I think.
Agree. I think that's one of the magics of theater is that it allows people from different walks of life to come into one space and to live in this imagination in real life, even whether it's imagination or whether they're reflecting our real society back onto us. It's a
Yeah.
place for us to kind of all sit with that and delve and imagine what if life could work cohesively and equally and smoothly, just kind of like that neighborhood that we were creating in Smokey Joe's Cafe, and
Yeah.
to see that that actually could be possible,
Mhm.
when we all learn to find some common ground, you
Right.
know. Um, I also love the show because it honors those African American artists before my time, who were paving the way for artists like me to be on stage, and you know, Jerry Lieber, Mike Stoller, you know, most amazing, one of the amazing like songwriting duos of our time. Um, they weren't afraid to write songs for black artists, rhythm and blues hits back in that time, and it I feel like it takes that kind of like unity and that willing to work together that helps bring about the change that we want to see in terms of race relations in this country.
Yeah.
So I think the songwriters. I also think Benny King, the artists and the Drifters, Big Mama Thornton.
Thornton,
Oh my God,
Hound Dog.
all of these legends that just
Yes.
gave who fought that great fight so that we, people like me can have that opportunity to perform on the stage, and it's just
Yeah. And
something.
I love seeing the through line from like, the real pioneers like Bessie Smith, who Katrina McGraw did such an amazing job with just recently, to Mama Thornton, to Smokey Joe's, all the way on up. Benny King. Speaking of Benny King. uh,
Yes, speaking of
yeah,
Benny, I would love to share this song with those who feel like this song just has a great space in their heart for them.
yeah,
Me by Benny King was, I think, just what we all need to hear. It's a very special song, and I love to sing it. So
great.
let's do it now.
Okay.
When the night has come, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountain should tumble into the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry, I won't shed a tear just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. It's like the kind of song that we all need right now, you know, that support, that togetherness. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me.
Oh, Dave,
Thank you.
thank you. That was super beautiful.
You're awesome, Michael.
You gotta take three.
Well,
Um,
thank you so much for asking me this question, and I thank you for like acknowledging that it's not you know the job of an African American to tell like how we should fix the problem, but I do find that it's valuable and to listen to what we as Black people have to say, and not all of our ideas or like our tactics are going to be the same, but I'm just kind of speaking from like my heart and kind of like where I've been personally with this. I think the first thing kind of starts from like leadership, right? Like I wish could be like a leader like you in every theater company, because you definitely are just like so welcoming, and you care about everybody regardless of who they are. And it takes kind of like that leap, to actively say, look, we need to be more diverse in our possibly our board, our creative team, and not necessarily when. And this is speaking just objectively. This is not like Cinerep in particular. This is like theater in general. To like hire creatives, and not necessarily who always represent like the show because it's ragtime. Let's have a black director and maybe a Jewish choreographer. Like to hire these people when they tell stories that have nothing to do with race, because of their quality and their skill set. Having more of a diverse cast, seeing more people being represented in the ensemble, or being willing to do very much what you did, what Cinerep did with Freaky Friday, by giving us roles not based off of the color of our skin, but based off of our talent and our qualities that we could bring to the show. It's those steps, those active steps, that I think will help us to move forward, and for it, one, not to be a trend, but for it to be something that we start to see continuously. And I think that that's kind of where it has to come first. I think there needs to be the inclusion and the active step to including. You know, my start with musical theater, how I first started, was through an outreach program. There was a beautiful youth theater program called Belasco Theater. It was located in Walnut Creek, and they used to rehearse at the Veterans Hall that was on Locust Street. It's no longer there anymore. It used to be across the street from Century Theaters, which I think is there now. And they got this comment from a kid in the audience that was like, "This was a great show, but where are the kids like me? Where are the black kids?" And the leaders of the company were like, you're right. It isn't so diverse here. So they created this outreach program. I was 6 years old when I joined. Changed my life. I'm here talking to you today about theater because that's how life-changing theater was for me. And I never stopped with that company. I think I did show after show, Grease, The Wiz, Guys and Dolls, Damn Yankees, like, well, you name it. And if it wasn't for that outreach program, the active step of someone saying, "Hey, let's bring in more people to represent maybe our community or what maybe America ought to look like," that I think it's those steps that really make a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was beautifully put, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like it's a first step, but an important step for us to listen, really hear. That's what I'm trying to do, and I want to do a lot more. But that's a very important first step. So thanks for
Thank
the
you.
thanks for the everything. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Um, so gosh, and the future was to hold in the Heights, which you are also going to be in. Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes. Such a good show. Such a good
Oh,
show.
another
And
show
also,
about a neighborhood and striving for the American dream. Right?
exactly, people who don't are underrepresented, who are like still struggling to like make it work.
That's such a great
Um,
story. That's the story.
yeah, the storyline.
Yeah.
And one thing about Lynn is that not only is he revolutionary by putting in like new, hip hop music
Right.
and rapping into the musical theater canon, but he's also kind of like unfiltered in things that he'll say. Like he'll write about like gentrification.
Yeah.
He'll talk about like we're living paycheck to paycheck, or how people are really being treated. And he's not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
Which is why I think also Hamilton blew up so well, because not only was it
Hmm.
crafty and clever, but it also touched on a serious happenings and occurrences of our country.
Yeah.
And I wish I could be a part of that, the Hamilton show, and plug in like Disney Plus. I'll be on there July 3rd. Go see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you're going to have opportunities. That show's not going anywhere.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. And such an interesting thing in the Heights, in this, mostly Dominican neighborhood. And then there's you, African American young man, falling in love with Nina. And, it's just
Hmm.
like sort of interesting variations on so much.
Right. So it's like I definitely don't want to think that. I don't want people to think that racism only roams with one particular group of people.
Right.
Like racism bleeds into so many. Like there are people. It's a psychological like thing. It's a mindset that people think that someone's better than the other, and that has unfortunately like permeated through very all kinds of groups.
Yeah.
And it is an element in the show that is addressed with Nina and Benny being an interracial couple.
Yeah. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
It's great to just, look and learn from the stuff on stage in the theater. That's, if there can be beautiful singing, songs, and dancing, and great storytelling too. That's just fantastic.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's hope we get to do it, right?
Let's do it.
It's not canceled. It's just postponed, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, Dave, this has been awesome, and I think you had another number you wanted to
Yeah.
close with.
Yeah. Let's do it. And this is where Nina decides to actually go off to school. She was having trouble before, which was too expensive for her.
Right.
She didn't speak the language. She was talking about this like really heightened, spoken language that she didn't come from this place, but her community was like pushing her to like continue to strive for it. Don't give up. And as much as Benny was like wanting her to stay, he knew that it was more important for her to go
Mhm.
and to pursue her dreams. And so the song kind of talks about him being able to let go and allow her to go ahead and do that. sun goes down, you're gonna need a flashlight, you're gonna need a candle. When you leave town, I'm gonna buy you a calling card, 'cause I'm falling hard for you. You'll go back on Labor Day, and I will try to make my way out west to California. So we've got the summer, and we've got each other, perhaps even longer, when you're on your own. And suddenly without me, will you forget about me? When I'm all alone and I close my eyes, that's when I'll see your face again. And when you're gone, you know that I'll be waiting. When you're gone, we'll be working hard, but if we should drift apart, let me take this moment just to say that you're gonna make it anyway. And I'll think of you every night at the same time. When the sun goes down, when the sun goes down.
Dave,
Thank you.
that was kind of magical.
Ah,
That's such a hard song too. You
it's
sang it so
it's
beautifully.
it's a hard song, and especially like I never feel like Zoom really gives it the true effect that it will give on stage.
Yeah, of
So
course.
people have to come see this show.
That's
They have
right.
to come see it in full production. Yes.
Oh,
Michael, so good to see you.
Dave Abrams, man, thank you. It was very generous of you to take the time and spend it with me and with our viewers and audience. And we love you, and you're just amazing person and performer, singer, actor. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Abrams, come on.
Love you guys so much. And Michael, thank you for inviting me on to have this talk and to talk about things that are fun, talk about things that are serious, and to also, just continue to give all of us this joy of theater while we're in our living rooms.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Son abandon, son ennui lui donne le change. Que retient-elle de sa vie qu'elle pourrait revoir en peinture? Dans un joli cadre verni en évidence sur un mur. Un mariage en technicolore, un couple